Japanese civilization received a pretty good buff recently thanks to the new patch on Age of Empires 4. So today we are the 16th of February when I am recording this video, and yeah, we're gonna watch build order with this civilization that is very strong with this civilization. I really like it, and yeah, I tried it in several games and I think it is a pretty good one. So I'm playing it as a Kong 2 player right now. Yeah, I play again Bleed, that is a Kong 2 player at the moment. I'm on my secondary account. I'm Kong 2, Kong 3 player, and yeah, this is a very good one that you can use at any level, I think, but be careful, it is a pretty hard one to do because you have to take care of your scout, but also of your production of villager, and also of your samurai that will come and attack your opponent at the beginning of the game. So there is a little bit of multitasking that you need to have in order to do this build order, but this is very strong against a lot of civilization. Be careful. Here we are gonna do only one samurai, and you can do variants of this build order in order to adapt, for example, to a Mongol player or to another civilization that produces units at the beginning of the game. So you kind of want to do also more units in the Dark Age. But in a lot of situations, you just want to do only one samurai and you want to do this build order. So be careful versus the Malian and versus the Mongols. I think you kind of want to have more units and you want to produce more. So I will maybe do another build order in order to show you how it's done. And also don't do this build order against the Rus, because the Rus don't take the gold, and so you cannot attack them at the beginning of the game. So doing a samurai is pretty bad, of course, because it cannot do any damage. Okay, so let's go with the build order. So you start with 2 villagers on the food. The first one that is going out on the TC will go also on the food. 2 of your villagers are going on the wood. 1 is going to do the farmhouse, and the last one will do the barracks. So also, this is a pretty difficult beginning also, because you have to put a lot of villagers in different positions, so it's kind of difficult. Don't hesitate to try and to make it as fast as you can. So my recommendation is you take all your 6 villagers, you put them on the sheeps, you take your scout, and you want to go as fast as you can see on your opponent. So you click with your 6 villager, you put it here, you make 4 villagers here, and you click on your scout and you click on the opposed side as you, in order to see the base of your opponent. As your scout is doing the travel time, you take 2 villagers, you drop, you go on the wood, then you take another one, you drop, you do the barracks, and then you click on another one and you do the farmhouse. This is the best stuff that you want to do in order to have the best build order with this beginning of the game. As you can see, your scout will come very close to the other one, and then you can see where he's going. So here I saw that he was gonna be here, so when I scout his gold, I'm gonna go here, of course, because his scout is here. Okay, if his scout went here, then I would have gone here, of course. Okay, so this is very important because you don't want to go on the same side as your opponent with your scout, otherwise you will not have any sheep, of course, because he will take all the sheep beforehand. So when the barracks is over, you immediately do a samurai. So don't hesitate to remove 1 villager here to have the samurai as fast as you can, and you only have 1 villager here. So this is also why this build order is kind of difficult, because you are very close to have no resources every time. So you have to spend very well your resources. This is very short, and if you misplay something, you can have too many of one resources and not enough with another one. So this is annoying, of course. So yeah, your 2 villagers here will gather wood, and once you have enough to do your other villager here, you take 2 of your villagers of the food and you go and make a forge in order to take the gold. the samurai is out of the barracks, and here is my little tips in order for you to be very good with the multitasking with the samurai, your scout, and also your TC. Is just to do 3 control groups. One is on the scout, one is on the samurai, and one is on the town center. How do you do that? If you're a beginner on AoE 4, you click on your unit, you maintain control, and you press 2 at the same time while maintaining control. While you do that, you create the control group 2. Now, when you click once on 2, you select your samurai, and when you're clicking fast, 2 times very fast on 2, like this, 2 times on 2, then your camera is centered to your unit. Okay, so as you can see, I can control 3 stuff at the same time with the multitasking, and this is very, very interesting in order to have a better control of different stuff. So thanks to that, I can control my scout in order to see the sheeps and take them on the map and do not miss anything. With the samurai, I can control it in order to attack my opponent and for it to do not go under the TC of my opponent and die. This is very important. So you have to spam your different control groups in order to be very aware of what is happening in the game. And then with the control 3, you want to always have a villager in the queue of your town center, of course, as every builder, of course. Okay, so now you are when you have 50 of wood, you take one of the 2 villager that is on the wood, and you make the forge here in order to have stone. This is very important because you will see this is very, very strong to have your daimyo manor as fast as you can, and 1 villager on the stone will allow you to have it very, very fast. When you have your H2, you will already have your daimyo manor. You can start by making the daimyo manor when your age up is finished. So this is very, very strong in order to have a good control of the map. Okay, all the next villagers will go here on the food. So as you can see, you are 6, 1, 2, and 1 on stone because, well, he has not finished the forge, but of course he will go on the stone right after. Okay, with your samurai, you want to be really, really on your samurai in order to do not go under the TC, as I said before. And so don't hesitate to click on the villager to deal with the other stuff and come really, really often on your samurai in order to do not go under the TC. As you can see here, he didn't follow the villagers because I saw it. And so yeah, really spam your control groups. This is very important to do in order to do not lose your samurai. If you lose it, then you lost a lot of resources and your build order is kind of not very interesting. You see what I mean? So this is a build order that is very strong, very interesting, but difficult to do, as I said in the beginning. So this is a very good one on 101, of course, and you can also do it on multiplayer if you want, on 2v2, 3v3, but be careful, it is more interesting on maps that are not big, you know, like there are small maps. This is very interesting, for example, on Cliffside, because this is a small map where you can attack very easily your opponent and very fast, so this is very cool. On big maps, it's not as efficient, of course. So yeah, this is the composition that you want with your villagers. And also another stuff that I want to talk about is, of course, you do not want to do this build order on hybrid maps, because on hybrid maps you want to take the control of the water, you want to take the fish, etc., in order to have more food. Okay, so let's go to the H2. I'm fast forward a little bit. And yeah, up on H2. What we're gonna do is the Kura storehouse. This is the eco one that allows you to have farms. What is very strong with this one is that you will have at the end of the H2 the daimyo manor, and then you can have the farms that will be made with the Kura storehouse that will be directly enhanced by the daimyo manor. So this is very, very cool. Once you're aging up, you will put 4 villagers on the age up, as you can see, and then you will put 5 villagers on gold. Okay? and you will stay only with 4 villagers on the food, and then the rest will go on the wood, and the town center will go on the wood directly. Why you're doing that? Because the next step of this build order is very interesting. You may know that the Pro Scout is very strong. This is a very good meta. Even if we've had some nerfs on the Pro Scout, this is a very good stuff to do with the Japanese right now, thanks to this build order, because you put depression directly to your opponent. Your opponent is forced to do some stuff in order to protect himself, and then you can have a lot of units that will come out of the barracks and having a very good control of the map. And this is an army that is very strong and very difficult to counter. You will see that. And yeah, you can spam your barracks because, well, they cost only 75 of wood, so this is very strong. Okay, so we have the Kura storehouse that will finish very soon, and as you can see, my villagers are going on the wood when they go out of the TC, and I have enough in order to have the professional scout. As I said before, this is the next step that we want to have on this build order. Why you want to have so much villagers on the wood? Because you want to also have a stable in order to do more scouts, of course, because you're doing a pro scout build. Okay, so when you age up here, you put all the villagers of the age up directly on the food. So you will have 8 villagers on the food. Well, 9, because you also have this one that will do the farmhouses. I recommend you to do the farmhouses next to the berries. And yeah, this is better because when you will not have any sheep under the TC or any deers, it will go directly here, and there will be a lot of farmhouses around the berries, and then it's easier for your villagers to drop off, and it reduces the idle time of your villagers. So this is very interesting, of course. Once you have enough to do the stable, you will stay only with 3 villagers on the wood. You don't need any more wood, of course, because the only wood you need will be for the spearmen, or for example, for the farmhouses, or doing other barracks, etc. So don't stay too long with those villagers on the wood. And yeah, I forgot, once the stable is finished, and also you launched the professional scout, of course, because you want to do this also. Once you have your daimyo manor, as I said before, you will start by doing the daimyo manor. This is a pretty difficult build order because there is a lot of different stuff that are happening at the same time. So yeah, I stopped gathering stone because I launched my daimyo manor. As I have my daimyo manor, I don't need any more stone, so the villagers on the stone will go directly in order to have more food. And when I launched also my professional scouts, I stopped gathering that much gold, and I only stay with 3 villagers on the gold. Because I only need gold in order to do more samurai or also to do my technologies, but I don't need that much gold. Not 5 villagers worth of gold. So yeah, I'm doing the stable. Immediately I'm doing scouts if I can. And also I'm doing the bannerman on the barracks. So this will depend. It will depend of what your opponent is doing on the map. Here, as you can see, there are some Gazi Raiders, and the Gazi Raiders are pretty strong against my bannerman, the Uma bannerman, because this is a heavy unit. So yeah, I will only have 1 bannerman, and this is not as interesting as doing a bannerman here with the barracks, because I can make also some spearmen in order to protect my bannerman, and the bannerman will also provide the aura. I don't know how is it called. Yeah, the aura that increases your melee infantry damages. So this is very interesting. But if your opponent is making, for example, archers, it can be interesting also to do the Yuma bannerman instead of your Kadana bannerman. But this is only in some cases. Most of the time, it is better to do the one from the infantry, because it will also boost all your units that you will do from the barracks, and you want to do more units on the barracks and not as much on the stable, because the stable is here in order to do scouts, as I said before. So yeah, it can be interesting to do the Uma bannerman, but this is mainly on situations when you don't want to do other units. And as you can see here, my opponent will be very aggressive on the beginning of the game, so I will do a lot of units, so this is better to do this one. This is also something that you can do if you want to go fast on H3. The Uma Bannerman is kind of good because it can put a lot of pressure to your opponent because this is a mobile unit and this is very strong. But most of the time you want to do the Katana because you will fight in order to have the control of the map and then having the deers, of course. I place directly my scout here in order to see what my opponent is doing, but also in order to directly take those deers. And yeah, I have a spearman here in order to protect my gold, another spearman here in order to protect my berries. And if I know I cannot protect it anymore, I can take all my villagers here on the sheeps, and this is better in order to protect myself. As you can see here, I have only 3 villagers on gold, 3 villagers on wood, and the rest on the food. And when I have another farm, I directly go with a villager on the farm. Here, as I made my second barracks, and I know I'm gonna do a lot of spearmen, I put 2 villagers of more on the wood. But if you mainly do units as samurai or onabugeisha, you will not put 2 villagers more on the wood, but directly on the gold. This is important for you to understand that, because if you mainly do spearmen, then you will have to spend more wood. But if you do samurai or onabugeisha, it costs you gold. So you have to adapt here. You have to adapt to what your opponent is doing. If he's doing cavalry, you will do spearmen, and then you need more wood. But if he's doing, I don't know, archers or spearmen, for example, then you want to do onabugeishas and samurais. Okay? So here I have my pro scout that is over, and I want to protect the deers here, of course, with my different spearmen, but he has a lot of army. I'm able to protect a little bit my scouts, and all my units are going here. So if this is the case, if all your units are needed on the battlefield in order to protect here the deers, don't hesitate to don't stay on the berries, because you cannot protect it at the same time. So yeah, just go here and make and take the sheeps and also the deers here. Don't hesitate to stay with 1 villager steer here, because, well, this is kind of cool to always have a villager here to do the farmhouses, as I said before. Don't hesitate also to do your technologies with the Japanese. I didn't talk about that, but directly I've done the first one. I don't know how is it called. All the technologies have different names, and I don't remember every name. And I also have done the Tatara. I think this is the name. This is the first one with the +1 melee, because I will do a lot of units, as you can see, with the barracks. And this is not a very expensive, because the cost is less than before, thanks to the new patch. So this is kind of interesting to have this one. And as I said before, once you have a new farm, directly you put a villager on this farm. Why you want to do this? Because the farm are infinite food. So if you put a villager on the farm, it will continuously through the game collect on this farm. But if you collect on a deer, well, at some point you will have no resources on this deer, and it's kind of over, and then all your villagers are out of food, and they have to do another stuff like wood or whatever, or they have to go on the berries, etc. So by putting all my villagers directly to the farm, I save my food under my TC. You know what I mean? This is very interesting to have this in mind, because, well, it delays my farm transition later. Okay, because I have more food under my TC for a longer time, and then this is very cool. So yeah, I continue to do a lot of army, because I see my opponent is making also army. So don't hesitate to stay with 1 scout that is seeing what your opponent is doing. I had a scout here that were doing this stuff, but fortunately he killed it, so I didn't saw exactly what he had, but I saw a lot of units as Ghazi Raiders, so I know he's making army, so I have to continue to produce army. You have to stay with this in mind. If your opponent is not making army, you're not making army. if your opponent is making army, you have to protect your scouts that are taking the deers on the map. Okay, this is what is very strong with this build order, because you can easily adapt to your opponent and you can make a lot of army, and whatever he's doing, if he's going fast h3, you're happy because the Japanese are very strong on h3. And if he's attacking you on h2, if he tries to protect all the deers, etc., this is a pretty good stuff also for you, because you kind of want to spam all your barracks. They are not very expensive, as I said before, and you have your Katana Bannerman that allows you to have a very good buff on all your units, and you can have 3 different units that are very strong on combat. And if he has, I don't know, for example, archers, then the samurais will be very strong. If he has cavalry, the spearmen will be very strong. If you have the Onabugeisha, you can counter pretty much everything, and this is not a very expensive unit. And so by having those 3 units, this is very strong. And as you can see here, I always have the 3 types of units in order to counter every time my opponent. And sometimes I will do a little bit more of one unit, because here, for example, I saw there is a lot of cavalry, so I did a lot of spearmen, as you can see. So you have to adapt a little bit, but you can make a soup of units, as I call it. You can make different types of units, and this is very difficult to counter, because your opponent cannot do, I don't know, different units on h2. This is not possible to counter that. And if he's not countering you, then you have all the deers of the map. So this is what is very strong with this build order. I feel like your opponent cannot really attack you. So of course, if you're elsewhere and you're attacked under your gold, then you go out and you protect your villagers. Don't hesitate also to put a little bit more villagers on wood at this time, because you will have too many food. This is out of the build order right now, of course. When this is 7 or 8 minutes, this is out of the build order. But I'm explaining to you what you can do in the game after that, in order to be very well on your game. So you kind of want to have more wood at this timing. When you have 20-25 villagers on the how is it called, on the food, you want to stop having the town center that put the villager on the food, because you will have too many food and you will not have enough wood or gold, whatever. So here, this is important to have a lot of wood, because I can do also the outpost here in order to protect well, the gold, of course. So if I lose my gold, this is pretty bad, because I cannot do the Onabugeishas, I cannot do the samurai, and I only can do the spearmen. I cannot do also all my technologies. I've done also the second one with the plus one melee damage. And yeah, I kind of want to have also the armor that allows me to have less damage from the arrows, of course. So here, as you can see, this is very, very difficult to counter my army, because there is a lot of different units, and this is difficult for the archers to attack the spearmen, or to attack only the Onabugeishas, etc. And sometimes they will hit the samurais, and will not do very much damage, because they have a lot of ranged armor, etc. So yeah, this is very, very strong composition of army, very difficult to counter. And as you can see here, I defend pretty well. I do my outpost, and I can defend the position. While I'm doing that, all the deers of the map have been taken thanks to my scouts, and I will fight also to take those ones. My opponent took a little bit of scouts, of deers, but not that much, because he had to make a lot of army. So yeah, that's pretty much it with the build order that I wanted to talk about. As you can see here, I will take the control of the map, and as I take the control of the map, I take all the deers. And when I see I have enough compared to my opponent in the army value, this is important to scout then at this timing, because here I can see, okay, I have pretty much the same amount of army, but he will continue to produce, as I see here. So I continue to produce also. I kind of wanted to have my H3, as you can see, but I kind of wanted also to have the deers that are here. So I thought, okay, now I have to make a choice, or I leave those deers and I wait for my h3 and I don't fight, or I fight here and I take those deers. And as you can see, he has some units that are pretty fast, faster than me, so I cannot really avoid this fight. So I took the choice of making a little bit more army here. So I spent my resources, I take the fight, and I will come with more units, and then I will go h3. Okay, so this is a kind of my point here of what is happening. As you can see, this is very difficult to counter my army. He cannot really deal with my samurai with his archers, and he cannot deal with my samurais also with his Gaziger raiders, because I have spearmen in it. So yeah, this is very, very strong, very cool. This is a bad fight, to be honest, but this is okay because I can go very fast on h3 because I have all the deers and he has not. So I have so much more food than him. So it is pretty easy for me to go very fast on h3. Of course, you want to do also the survival technique. I didn't talk about that, but you want to do all your technologies, of course, in order to have better economy, and also all the technologies in order to have a better army. Of course, you want to do. I didn't specify this, but this is something that is very important. So my Yorishiro goes directly into a barrack, and with this barrack I do all my technologies. So my veteran, with first my samurais because I have a lot of them. This is the main unit I have. Then the Bugeisha because this is the second most unit I have. And yeah, after I will do the spearmen, of course. I do also the wedge rivets. This is very interesting against those archers. And yeah, I take the fight while I have the veteran, so this is better for me. And now, this is the crucial point. As you took all the deers of the map, your opponent cannot have a lot of economy on food. So you have your aggression point. The berries, but also the boar. If you stop your opponent from taking the berries and the boar, then he has to put farms into his base. And if he has to put farms, he's in a bad spot because you don't have to do those farms because you have the deers and you can take all the berries of the map. So you have to take the control of the map at this timing and stop your opponent from taking all the resources of the map. And if you do that, well, you've won the game, of course. So this is very interesting and important for you to understand that, because a lot of players are not doing this properly. They have the control of the map, but they let their opponent go and take the resources of the map. This is not a good stuff, of course. You want to take the control of the map, and by avoiding your opponent taking all the resources. And if you force your opponent by making farms, for some civilizations this is horrible. For other civilizations this is okay. But as you can see here, I have the control, and directly I know I have to attack this, because if he cannot produce food, then how is he gonna do some army? He cannot. So this is the main stuff that I want you to understand. And I know he's Delhi, so he doesn't have that much scholars, and he doesn't have the position to have his archers very fast on the veteran. So I directly go to his base, directly attack where it will do some damage. And I scout here at the same time as I talked about before, so I know there are some villagers here, so I will attack him at this point. You can see here all my units are gonna go here, and with those units I will attack his main base. Okay, and yeah, that's pretty much the game now, because I stop him from making food, and if he doesn't have food, as I said before, he doesn't have any army, and if he doesn't have any army, I'm producing some army, and then I can destroy him. The strong stuff about the Japanese also is when you are doing farms. Yes, it costs you 75 of wood as any other civilization, but as you can see, I have my Daimyo Palace right now because I collected a lot of gold, and then all the stone allowed me to have the second TC upgrade. And then I can do more bannermen, but also all my farms are gathering 40% faster. So when I'm making a farm transition, I have farms that are making a lot of food, while my opponent, well, not that much. So this is very strong with the Japanese. And the second stuff that is very strong are the Yorishiros. You can produce very, very fast on those barracks. But you can also put it on the TC. You can also put it on the different like farmhouses, forge, or also the lumber camp, etc. So this is very cool. And when you put your Yorishiro here, then you have a monk that can take all the relics. And as you can see here, I collected a relic, I drop it here. I don't have enough wood to do a monastery, a Shinto shrine, and so I just drop it and I take another relic and I drop it, and when I will do the Shinto shrine, of course, I will put all my relics inside. But as you can see here, you can gather all the relics without having any Shinto shrine. So this is very, very cool, of course, if you have the control of the map at the same time. Okay, so that's pretty much it with this build order and the different stuff that I wanted to talk about today. Don't hesitate to tell me in the comments what you think about that. Don't hesitate if you have questions. I will be glad to answer to you. Yeah, thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.